week. The Saints let a road win slip away. New Orleans never led in today's game at Mile High, but they should have in the end. 502 total yards of offense looks great on paper. 503 yards would have looked much better and more than likely produced a win. Stuck in a hole or empty, spotting the Broncos a 21-3 lead.
We're playing a very good opponent in a very tough place to play. And so, we figured that we might get in a situation where, hey, they come out firing, we just have to weather the storm.
Bouncing back from the fumble, Reggie Bush sparked the 16-point second quarter. That should have been more.
They hand it to Thomas. Thomas did not get in.
And even though Charles Grant would get a safety after the stop, the damage was done.
You can really look at 3 plays that kind of tarnish this performance offensively, and it cost us the game.
4th and goal at the goal line, and 3rd and 1 in the fourth quarter stand out the most, with Deuce McAllister on the sideline and the Saints yet again in need of just a single yard. Pierre Thomas and the Saints offense failed to advance the football on either one.
You look back on a goal line sequence, sure, I'm off about that.
Payton said he considered going for it on 4th down late in the game, but opted instead for a Martin Gramatica field goal attempt that would have given the Saints the lead.
If I'd gone for it in 4th and 2, we'd have 15 questions right now about what I was doing.
But the questions aren't about the plays, but rather the personnel. Would Deuce McAllister and his 5-yard per carry average be a better fit in short yardage? Sean Payton assured McAllister that he's in the team's plans this season. There should be 15 questions asked on when. 3 weeks, 3 anemic rushing games for the black and gold. Tampa Bay, the Saints' lone win, producing the team's only triple-digit figure. The standard in the NFL, what most teams shoot for in a game, 4 yards per carry. The Saints have fallen short in each game. Deuce McAllister, meanwhile, 2 carries this season, 10 total yards. We're joined live in studio now, the Cajun Cannon, Bobby Hebert, WWL AM and FM. You and I probably aren't that good at math. That's 5 yards a carry. That's pretty good for Deuce McAllister. Why is he not in the game?
Well, if you have him dressed out, that's the question I have. If he's dressed out, then he should be able to contribute. Like you said, if you look, going back to the Redskins game, 55 yards, 2.9 yard average. Look at the Broncos game, 88 yards, 3.5 average. I mean, the Broncos were giving up 115 yards rushing a game. You have to be able to get 100 yards. They're the 27th ranked defense. So, the big question for me is that, we're concerned about Deuce's knee, but if he's dressed out, he has to be able to contribute. Right. Or don't dress him out, because he's not going to play special teams.
Well, so is the problem more not the running back? Is it more up front because you're seeing that backside pressure coming through, and maybe Deuce doesn't even break the tackle on the 3rd and 1 late in the game, but on the goal line, it looked like he's in there. I think Deuce McAllister makes it on the goal line at 4th.
Well, that's one thing Pierre Thomas has been able to, in the Saints uniform, initial hit, he's able to fall forward 1 or 2 yards, but then that's when that extra poundage comes into existence. When you're 200, 205 pounds versus 230 pounds, you're able to get, that extra push. And then as far as the blocking schemes, you go man on man, not worried about pulling, the backside, whether it be the guard, whatever, where you basically protecting your weak side where the guy can't pinch, because it's not like college football. Even the SEC, you look at the top defenses you see there. Well, the NFL, everyone has SEC-type defenders. Right. And the speed of the game, you can't afford to someone come in the backside because they're so quick, they're able to make those hits in the backfield where you never really even get to the line of scrimmage.
But my question is, too, if it comes down to a roster spot, which Deuce McAllister has taken one up now for 3 weeks, 2 carries. 2 years ago, Joe Horn takes up a roster spot, gets hurt on a play, and Sean Payton made a big deal about how important these roster spots are, and that's why, remember, Joe Horn wasn't active for a lot of games. Deuce McAllister, as you mentioned, doesn't play special teams. If he's suited up, why isn't he getting in the game? It's almost as if there's something personal there, and I'm not trying to say that there is,
right.
But what other reason would there be to not play?
Well, I can tell you this from my experience, playing 15 years professional ball, 12 in the NFL, that when new coaches come on board, they have their guys. I mean, Joe Horn, Deuce McAllister is not Coach Payton's guys. I mean, they were already here. And, you know, you don't think that comes into play. But realistically, Reggie Bush, now I don't know what's happening behind closed doors. You know, egos are involved. Reggie Bush wanting to be the guy. And, you know, you can't, you know, discount what he's done the first 3 games because Reggie Bush has been, you know, unbelievable. But he's still, to have ultimate success, he has to be part of a 1-2 punch. It was that way at USC with Lindell White. In 06, it was the Deuce McAllister, Reggie Bush show. And someone has to come to the forefront. And Reggie, there is a great role for him, you know, to receive the ball, punt returns, getting the ball in space, but it's not running between the tackles. He cannot be your featured back. Right. And so whether it's Pierre Thomas or Deuce McAllister, and Pierre's had, you know, has been given the opportunity. So I think you have to go with Deuce. If he's dressed out, put him in the game.
And Sean's not. Jim Henderson was in Denver. He's caught up with Saints fullback Mike Carney about what happened when the Saints needed 1 yard and couldn't get it.
With Mike Carney, I imagine you haven't been involved with any games any more disappointing than that one.
Yeah, it's tough, man. You know, it's tough that it came down to a 3rd and 1 again, you know, like last week. It's tough, but, you know,
what is there about 3rd and 1? That's the 3rd straight week it's come down to that.
Well, we gotta learn to finish. It's everybody, you know what I mean? Find out what it is and fix it and move on. That's all we can do. That's all we can do. I mean, we can't go back and replay it now, you know. So we just got to hopefully that we don't repeat it, continue to repeat it.
Now I think everybody else in the division's 2-1. You guys are 1-2. Looking up at the rest of the division is not a comfortable place to be in right now, is it?
No, it's not. But, you know, we're taking our bumps early, you know.
I think frustration being the key word in the Saints locker room after this game. Stay with us, much more with Bobby Hebert when we come back. You're watching 4th Down.
Hall, so the Saints don't get 3 perhaps, but they will get 2. Well, I'll tell you what.
Another huge play by the Saints defense coming up when they really needed one most. We're joined again by Bobby Hebert, WWL AM and FM. The defense, by no means, this isn't the Dome Patrol. This isn't one of the top defenses in the league. But Fajita's play against Tampa Bay, Shanley's play today, Grant's play that we just saw, they make plays when they have to, and especially seeing Mike McKenzie back gives the defense a little bit of a swagger. Nothing gigantic, but a swagger.
I mean, you would have thought going against the #1 offense in the league, averaging 40 points a game, that if you would have told me before the game that the Saints would be +1 in the giveaway takeaway ratio, and time of possession, controlling the clock, that I definitely would have thought the Saints would have won the game. Now, you know, Reggie Bush basically giving them 7 points on the fumble. I mean, you can't afford to have that. We don't have, you know, that good of a defense yet, but it just shows you the experience of this team, that even down 21-3, that they're able to come back. But hopefully, how the season's going to progress, that you hope this doesn't come back to bite them in the behind,
right,
where all of a sudden, you know, God, we could have won at Washington, winning about 9 points going into the 4th quarter. We have a great opportunity. You know, if we get a little close, one more first down, maybe the field goal is not as long for Grammatica. No, hopefully, and when you're trying to get to 10, 11 wins, this definitely could come into play down the road.
I think Washington could too. Coming into this game, Jonathan Vilma was leading the league in tackles. Not a very big day today. Still solid. Jim Henderson caught up with him after the game.
With Jonathan Vilma, Jonathan, look back on this game, how you hope to defense these guys and how you did overall.
We didn't do well enough overall. We lost the game. Our defense, we gave up a ton of points. Granted, they're a good offense. I give them that, but
it seemed like you played better in the second half and into the 4th quarter. Were there adjustments made? Why did the defense seem to come on as the game wore on?
I think the defense, we just settled in and relaxed a little bit, and we, you know, just went out there and played.
How difficult does this make it? I mean, I think everybody else in the division now is 2-1, and you're 1-2. Defeats can't be much more difficult to take than this one that happened this way, can it?
Yeah, but we're going to keep it in perspective. Being 2-1 with 13 games left, or 1-2 right now, really doesn't make a difference. Right now, we got to focus on getting better, especially on the defensive side of the ball.
Thank you, Jonathan.
Martin Grammatica, 8 for 8 coming into this game. You're going to miss some field goals, but when you go into the locker room after you miss a game-winning field goal, how do the teammates treat a kicker?
Man, come on, you're a kicker. You know, you never parted the team, especially when you miss. You know, when you make it out, that's what you're supposed to do. You're not getting beat up out there. Just make the kick. And, you know, maybe that's why Martin Gramatica, his whole mindset, you know.
I want to see how he bounces back from this, yeah.
Yeah, because kickers are kind of flaky. You know, all
Right.
of a sudden, they'll get in the groove where they can't miss, and all of a sudden, they shell-shocked. Then they might miss a few in a row. Of all games, you know, he's perfect coming to this game. Crucial kick against Denver. And he misses the 51-yarder, then the game winner at the end. So, yeah, that definitely could affect his mindset. But the players, you know, his teammates, they might say this, but I've been in the locker room before with kickers, even with Martin Anderson, as great as he was. I can hear Ricky Jackson saying, come on, dude, all you got to do is kick. You're not getting beat up out there. Just make it.
Well, Sean Payton definitely does not want another kicker problem on his hands. Bobby Hebert, thanks so much for being in studio. All right, we'll see you around.
All right.
Stay with us. Fourth down continues after the break.
And Flynn is back to throw.
Feel the spirit in the street. We'll all be marching in.
Shockey breaking one tackle and now a second. Oh no, lead, it's a touchdown.
We are all here to cheer you. Don't let nothing steal you away.
The Buick